There's a moment every man has experienced. The pattern. She seeks reassurance, and when you give it freely, you become less attractive to her. This one frustrates men more than almost any other dynamic. She says she feels insecure about how she looks, how you feel about her, whether she's enough. You reassure her immediately, warmly, honestly, generously, and somehow within a short time the question comes back. Or something shifts. She seems less settled, not more. What's happening psychologically is not manipulation. It's a validation loop driven by anxious attachment wiring. For many women, especially those with an anxious attachment style, reassurance functions as a temporary regulator. It soothes an activated nervous system. But because it comes from the outside, it doesn't build internal security. It has to be renewed. The pattern. She pulls back, becomes less available, less warm, less engaged, and the man's instinct is to pursue. Pursuit behavior is one of the most predictable male responses in relational dynamics, and it is also one of the most self-undermining. When she withdraws, whether from mood, from processing, from a desire to observe your response, or simply from having a rich internal life, the man who chases communicates one thing above all: I am not okay without your attention. Psychologically, this pattern taps into what's known as the intermittent reinforcement cycle. Inconsistent warmth creates stronger emotional bonding than consistent warmth. This is not a tactic she deploys consciously. Her natural emotional rhythm, the ebb and flow of feminine energy, simply produces this effect, and the male nervous system, wired to pursue, responds accordingly. The wrong response is obvious: texting too much, showing up uninvited, escalating in emotional tone. Making her withdraw means something catastrophic about the relationship. The emotionally mature response is to let the space be space, to fill your own life with purpose, connection, and engagement, so that her withdrawal registers as information, not emergency. You might check in once, warmly, without pressure, and then you return to yourself. This is not playing games. This is self-containment, and self-containment is attractive precisely because it demonstrates that your sense of self is not dependent on her emotional availability at every moment. Loophole 4. The comfort trap. The pattern. She brings her emotional weight into the space, and the man feels responsible for resolving it. This is one of the most common dynamics in long-term relationships, and one of the least examined. She is upset about work, about her friendships, about something unresolved from her past. The weight of that emotion enters the room, and the man instinctively moves to fix it, to solve it, to take it away. What he doesn't realize is that in taking responsibility for her emotional state, he is doing two things simultaneously. He is signaling that he can't tolerate her being in discomfort, and he is training the relationship to route all emotional difficulty through him. The psychology here connects to what researchers call emotional regulation codependence. When one partner consistently manages the other's emotions, both parties lose something. She loses the development of her own emotional self-regulation capacity. He loses his own internal peace, because his nervous system is now permanently surveying hers. A realistic scenario. She comes home frustrated. He immediately begins troubleshooting, asking questions, offering solutions, trying different approaches until her mood lifts. This feels loving, but over time, he becomes the manager of her emotional world, and she, unconsciously, stops learning to regulate herself because he does it for her. The emotionally mature response is compassionate presence without rescue. You listen fully. You acknowledge what she's feeling without minimizing it. You resist the urge to fix, and you trust her to find her way through it. because you believe in her capacity to do so. That trust is itself a form of respect. Loophole 7. Scarcity signaling. The pattern. She oscillates between nurturing warmth and seductive tension, and men often don't know which role to occupy in response. Feminine relational energy naturally contains both of these registers. There are moments of deep warmth, care, and maternal comfort, and there are moments of playful tension, teasing, and erotic charge. These are not contradictions, they are dimensions. Men often get stuck in a complementary pattern. They respond to the warmth with softness, and then don't know how to shift gears when the energy changes. Or they hold a consistent masculine dominant energy that works beautifully in moments of tension, but feels cold during moments of warmth. The psychological insight here is that emotional flexibility is a form of strength. The man who can move fluidly between receiving her care graciously and generating tension playfully is far more compelling than the man who is locked into a single emotional register. A realistic example. She's being nurturing, bringing him food, being attentive, being gentle. The man who gets passive and soft in response to this slowly loses his edge. She begins to feel like she's managing a large child, rather than in relationship with a man. The tension dissolves. The emotionally mature response is to receive her warmth with genuine gratitude, without becoming dependent on it or collapsing into it. You stay present, you stay warm, and when the moment calls for it, you bring playfulness, teasing, or directness back into the space. You lead the emotional weather rather than merely responding to it. Loophole 9. The fairness negotiation trap. The pattern. She reads social and emotional cues at a level of resolution most men don't have access to, and often knows things about the relationship before you do. This is not mystical. It is well documented in social psychology. On average, women demonstrate higher sensitivity to micro-expressions, tonal shifts, behavioral inconsistencies, and relational subtext. This is in part a product of evolutionary pressures that made social attunement a matter of survival. What this means practically is that she often knows something is off before you've acknowledged it yourself. She may sense your ambivalence before you've named it. She may detect your stress, your withdrawal, your dissatisfaction, and raise it in ways that seem disproportionate to you, because you're only registering the conscious surface. The wrong male response is to gaslight unintentionally, to say nothing's wrong when something is, because you haven't yet processed it consciously. This creates a reality gap that erodes trust over time. The emotionally mature response is to develop your own emotional vocabulary, to practice internal check-ins, to be able to say, I think something's been off for me this week, and I haven't fully figured out what it is yet, but it's not about us. That kind of honesty doesn't just preserve trust, it builds it at a level that most relationships never reach. Your emotional self-awareness is not just personal development, it is relational infrastructure. Loophole 11. The feminine ultimatum. The pattern. She delivers an ultimatum, often as a last expression of desperation rather than a strategic power move, and the man frames it as a threat. Ultimatums are misread almost universally. When a woman delivers an ultimatum, if this doesn't change, I'm done. Most men hear it as a control tactic, a manipulation, a threat to their autonomy, and they respond accordingly, with defensiveness, dismissal, or counter-threat. What the ultimatum usually is, psychologically, is a last resort bid for importance. It is the language of someone who has tried to communicate a need through subtler means for a significant period of time and has finally run out of softer options. The ultimatum is often preceded by a long pattern of unheard requests. Conclusion. Slower, more deliberate. This is the landing. Here's what ties all 11 of these patterns together. Which line in this video hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if a line made you uncomfortable, that's usually the one you needed most.